This is the MDRT podcast. There are so many adjustments to make when situations take you by surprise that you may overlook certain elements. During a recent Zoom call, MDRT members
David Appel, Newton, Massachusetts.
Julianne Hertel from Worcester, Massachusetts.
Dick Dobson from Cedar Falls, Iowa.
addressed elements regarding their clients and their practice they want to make sure don't get overlooked.
I think one thing that we're going to want to be careful of is the extension of deadlines, which we're getting on our taxes. May also, of course, it extends the deadline for retirement plan contributions. And so that will affect a number of our clients where we do that type of planning. There are probably additional estimated taxes. There may be some advice that we're able to give clients based on an early report on those. And so I think that's an important thing. I know this is centered, U.S. centered, our conversation has been, but so many of our members are outside the U.S. and it's affecting them the same way. It's unusual that we would have a worldwide catastrophic event of this magnitude. And for some, it's been a little hard to digest, and hopefully we'll conquer it.
One thing I'm preparing for is, when this is all done, how do we get back to business? How do we get back to business as usual? Because I think those of us that are on this call right now, on this podcast right now, we're going to be ready to go. But our clients aren't going to be. They'll be incorporating their kids back into school, hopefully before the end of the year, getting back into working in their offices. So I think for like the first week or two, when all these shutdowns and lockdowns end, the first week or two that we can go back, we're going to be raring to go. Our clients aren't going to be there because they're going to be in the middle of this. It's like the first week of school and the week of Christmas and New Year's and coming back from vacation, like all in 1 week. So I think we have to be prepared to extend this even when we are back in our offices.
The only thing I could say is I'm going to try. I've never been one to, I love to play and I like to work hard, but I've not been one to, summer comes and take it off and go play golf and do whatever. I've always worked and played. My goal is to just keep going as normal as I can, continuing to follow up with my prospects, continuing to be in touch with my clients, continuing to look for opportunities for them, continuing to try to get them to move forward the best I can. And like you said, we're going to be raring to go, but I want to be able to go as if I didn't miss a step. And I'm not going to sit back right now just because we're home and people are home to try to not keep going, because I think we're going to be way ahead of the game with the majority of people who are, not doing much. Okay. So that's my goal.
Yeah, you can't curl up in a fetal position under your desk. Now's not the time for that.
No.
It reminds me of a real estate person in Phoenix was asked during one of their slumps, which they've had many. So who's been through more real estate slumps than Phoenix, Arizona, And they asked him, he had a substantial organization. They said, well, this was after the fact. He goes, well, what did you do during that period of time that got you through it? He goes, you know what? I got up and went to the office every day like I usually do. Pretty soon it got better. So, and it reminds me of a saying, I don't know where this came from. I know my dad said it a lot, now I see it on a TV commercial. So it's come full circle, but it said, tough times never last, but tough people do. Mm-hmm. And you have to keep that in mind, that we will persevere. And we've been faced with far greater issues than the one we have at hand, far greater, and that had an interminable end on it. You think about World War II or even the Russian Missile Crisis, or, there's all these events, and everyone's seen the American Fund's growth chart, Growth Fund of America, where it circles these events, and there's a big dip, and then it goes on to recover and go on to new highs. And there's no reason that anyone can see that, as a student of all that it won't also have the same outcome here. Mm-hmm. We're looking for that outcome. We believe that that'll be the case. And I can't think of an instance where we would be permanently shut down by anything. Maybe alien astronauts with coronavirus. I don't know, something like that.
We have a presidential race in the background of all this that kind of got stalled in some regards. And that's going to change things. Listen, I've already been dealing in my business. I took a huge hit in 2019 and have already started to try to figure out how to generate more volume, because with a federal tax exemption of $23 million, people weren't buying life insurance the way they were if they were worth between $10 and $20 million, as they were prior to 2018. So Trump's tax law, for me, from an estate tax standpoint, had to start getting me to adjust my business as it was, because My revenue dropped in 2019 to 50% of what it was in 2018. And I could strictly attribute it to Trump's state tax law. So, I've had to adjust to try to figure out how that's going to change going forward. And of course, it'll change dramatically if a Democrat becomes president, but who knows what's going to happen there. But, we all have to make adjustments as we go through life. And we can't sit back and, like Tix just said, curl up in a fetal position. We need to just drive forward and figure out how to do it, how to make things happen. At least typically MDRT members are like that.
That's the end of this month's episode. If you'd like to subscribe, you can find us on SoundCloud and Spotify at MDRT Podcast. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.